Lucha Underground has just crowned their brand new Trios champions. And with that, you know what time it is. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason, a.k.a. J-Bone, of the Rambling About Wrestling podcast, here to bring you my Lucha Underground episode number 24 from April 22nd. My thoughts and review on the episode. Wow. Little behind here. Haven't done one of these in a while. It's been a few episodes. I have watched every episode. I just gotten away from making videos for a while. I know I need to get back into doing these on a regular basis. But I'm not gonna do catch up videos. I'm just gonna stay current with what's going on. So with that, let's get into this. This is officially my favorite wrestling show now. It's always been pretty much a tie over the course of the last year between this and NXT. This is officially my favorite wrestling program. Between the roster, the action, the production, everything is just incredible. This episode starts out showing a character we haven't seen in a while, Black Lotus, a.k.a. Angela Fong, after she's been kidnapped at some Lucha Underground training facility, learning the art of Lucha Libre. So it was great to see her, and it was cool how they showed it. You know, they showed her in a room. It was all silhouette fighting. You couldn't really see who she was fighting, but you know it was her. You could tell. Whenever she does end up actually debuting in the temple, it'll be great. She will be a much welcomed addition to the roster. Can't wait to see her take on the likes of Sexy Star, Evilise, and I'm sure by the time that happens, I'm sure there might be an additional one or two more female wrestlers in Lucha Underground. It'd be great to see. But I love how they're doing that with her. This whole how she's training, you know. Next, we have kind of a grudge match of sorts between Sexy Star and Pentagon Jr. And I said this last week on the podcast with my fellow Ringside Ramblers on the Rambling About Wrestling podcast. By the way, go check out those guys. I'm a part of this team. Just a great show every week talking about wrestling, everything from WWE to Lucha Underground to NXT. Great stuff. Cheap plug. One thing I mentioned on the podcast about Sexy Star and about the show in general is that when they, almost every female that they've featured on this, on Lucha Underground is, they're not thrown out there like, just objects of sex, or they're just, eye candy. They're all strong, independent females that kick ass every week they're on the show. And very, very similar to the way that Robert Rodriguez portrays women in his movies. Very similar. So yeah, just throwing that out there for you guys to think about for a bit. It's a tremendous way of promoting women in wrestling. Don't make them a joke, make them strong. But this match between Pentagon Jr. and Sexy Star was quite. I'll call it a slobber knocker. I mean, really, really shocked and surprised me. This was not one-sided one bit. I mean, Sexy Star did get her ass kicked through a good chunk of this match, don't get me wrong. But she came back strong and actually ended up beating Pentagon Jr. So we'll have to see in the future where this is going to lead to. Is this feud over? Is Pentagon Jr. now going to have to face his master, who he always dedicates his matches to? Is he going to get punished for this? We'll have to see. But yeah, just a great match. I mean, Sexy Star just proved once again how dominant females can be in wrestling, and just a great way of portraying this. And the second and final match of the episode, this lasted through a good 2/3 of the episode or more, was the Trios Championship. Now, just to give a little just a little catch up on this, there was a tournament to decide the first Trios Championship. And this is something that I had discussed in past videos, my Lucha Underground videos, saying that it's like, okay, well, they have the champion now, Prince Puma. Excuse me. When are they going to create like a tag team championship? And this is something even more exciting. It makes the brand of Lucha Underground even more unique and exciting to watch. The fact that they don't just have tag teams, it's trios. So it makes the formula for working together, the psychology, the camaraderie of these guys working together, it's just that much better. And over the last couple weeks, we've seen teams like, one that I thought was going to win was we saw last week, Johnny Mundo, Prince Puma, and I'm drawing a blank. Drago? I can't remember. Anyways, some of the teams that I thought were going to make it to the finals did not make it, whereas some of the most dysfunctional teams actually made it to the final round of this championship series to find the trios champions. And just this 3-on-3 elimination match is just absolutely incredible. You had the three teams of King Cuerno, Cage, and Tejano Jr. versus Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico versus Big Rick, Killshot, and the Mac. Now, going into this episode, my pick personally to win this was Big Rick, Killshot, and the Mac. They have been very impressive in the ring, working together. Put it this way. I don't like to always compare Lucha Underground to WWE, but as far as triple threats or trios teams or three guy teams, whatever, this team by far outweighs the strength of New Day from the WWE by far, totally. Just in the short time that we've seen these guys work together. So these guys were actually my pick to win the whole shebang. But I was wrong. Going into this, I have to say that King Cuerno, Cage, and Tejano Jr. actually looked the strongest. Whereas, like I said, Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico looked the most dysfunctional of all of them. this match between the three teams was just absolutely sick. The first elimination was Killshot did a double stomp on Tejano and pinned him to eliminate the team of King Cuerno, Cage, and Tejano Jr. So that right off the bat surprised me. I did not see that team getting eliminated. If I had to guess, I was assuming that Angelico, Ivelisse, and Son of Havoc were going to get eliminated first, if not, somehow lose this match, just knowing how comical and dysfunctional they've been. That's one thing that really stood out in this episode, was showing, even though these three did not get along very well, Havoc, Ivelisse, and Helico, they fought together to win this championship. And that really shined through, that by the end of this episode, the crowd went from being somewhat divided to really rooting for these guys. And I myself, by the end of this episode, was rooting for them. To win the championship, and Angelico ended up pinning Killshot at the end. And man, these guys, they just, the action throughout this whole thing was just nonstop. It looked like Ivelisse was injured through a good chunk of this match. It looked like I don't know if she tore something or sprained her ankle really bad. Something happened with her leg or her knee or something. So, how long she's actually going to be part of this group, I don't know. But we'll have to see how much it affects the shows. I know they're all pre-taped, but I don't know how far in advance, because I think it was within the last month, Ivelisse said on Twitter that she's banged up and that she'll be back soon. So I'm assuming that is in reference to what happened during this episode, but we'll see. Just a guess. But then, and in the midst of all this chaos, the 3-on-3-on-3, this gentleman was in the last episode, but he was also in this episode. Daivari was in the front row and ended up attacking Tejano and just bitch slapping him, and threw him through like the first few rows of people. People cleared out, threw him into the chairs. It was hilarious. It was great. He got upset, ripped open his shirt, and then stormed off to the back. So I'm sure somewhere in the very near future, we're actually going to see Daivari show up in Dario Cueto's office, get a contract, something. He will be part of the show. And he looks like he's in great shape, too. So I'm sure it'll be a nice addition to this roster of Lucha Underground. Now, back to the match. Dario Cueto comes out of his office with this, stunned look on his face, and he's like, the most dysfunctional group actually came through and won this. And, they're exhausted. They're barely celebrating this. They're banged up. And Cueto's like, oh, no, you didn't win quite yet. And introduces the crew, Cisco, Bale, and Castro. And they come to the ring, and he announces that the match is back on. It's not done yet, and it's all going to be DQ. And I was like, well, that was a nice little win for Havoc, Ivelisse, and Helico. Short-lived, obviously. This is not going to last. Well, I was pleasantly proved wrong on this one. They came out on top and defeated the Crew. And if you're curious to see what this is like, go to the Lucha Underground Facebook page. Go to the YouTube page. The highlights from this episode from last night are already up. And the last move is probably one of the craziest we've seen since this show has started. Angelico, who is up on top in the back, behind Dario Gordo's office, getting the snot kicked out of him from, I believe it was Bale. I could be wrong. It was one of the Crew. He's banged up and he's just sitting there, and all of a sudden, two of the guys in the ring are about to, I believe they were about to attack Evilise, and she's already banged up. Angelico does a diving frog splash on both of these guys and knocks them out and takes them out, and just, oh my God, this is one of the craziest things I've seen on this show since it started. Just awesome. These guys really pulled it off, came together, and won this. And it was really great to see. You want to talk about a feel-good moment in wrestling? This is one of those, to have guys like Havoc and Evilise come out, and, they're great wrestlers, but it's more of a comedy. It starts out and she's, bitching at him, and he's whining, pissing, and moaning, and so it's more of a joke, but man, they have really pulled together and become fan favorites of the show, including some of my favorites to watch on the show too. Just outstanding. So yeah, just if you're not into what WWE's doing lately and you want something new and fresh to watch, find a way to see this show. Go find the El Rey Network on your cable box, dish, network, whatever. Go to dailymotion.com. Go find the episodes there. Find some way to watch this. It's out there. Find it. It's some of the best action out there. I can't say enough about it. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys.